I swear, Hagazussa would be the most metal name for a metal band ever.
Here we go! This night, you're gonna find that nightmares do come true. We will find you. Trick or treat. This night, you're gonna find that people.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to 31 Days of Horror Year 3. This is day 19. I am Morgan Film Fan. Let's jump into some scares. Hagazussa is an Austrian film spoken in the German language, released last year in 2019. It's one that has been on my radar since then, but never got a chance to watch it until now, and I'm very glad that I got to put it in my 31 Days of Horror of 2020, and definitely enjoyed the hell out of it. Without a doubt, it's a slow burn. It's not going to be for everybody. It's extremely slow-paced. There's not a lot of dialogue in it, so there's not a lot of, speaking. It's mostly just, it focuses more on atmosphere and cinematography, more so than it does on, dialogue and spoken scenes kind of thing. But plot-wise, it revolves around this young woman who she starts off as a child and then she grows into an adult. Her name is pronounced Ibrun, I believe. That's how they say it in the film. So the whole film is based around her. And in the beginning, when she's a child, she's being raised by her mother, and everybody in the small village that they are located in, it basically takes place in a really rural Austrian village, I believe in the 15th century. So this is a period piece. She's being raised by her mother, and everybody in the town, or the village, sorry, thinks that they're witches, and they're after them. They're not liked at all. And this little girl is in this environment with her mother where basically they have to isolate themselves at all times because everybody is out to get them, because everybody thinks they're witches, or should I say knows they're witches, because they pretty much end up being evil. But then this girl grows up. She meets this other woman named Swinda. I don't know if she moves villages or not, but she, as a grown woman, she has a child of her own, and she raises this child, and things just start to get weirder and weirder as the film goes along after that. After Ibrun grows into an adult and has a child of her own, weird things start to happen, and she and with this woman too, with Swinda, basically from the first half to the second half of the film, the second half of the film is just completely bonkers and weird, and it's definitely a film that has to be watched multiple times, without a doubt. But yeah, from what I got from it, she's clearly a witch, from things that happen and how the film progresses, and there's a lot of symbolism. This is a very, very heavy film on symbolism. There's a scene involving the milking of a goat that they really sexualize. It's she's just milking the goat, but it's very sexual in the way it's filmed, and she's kind of getting pleasure out of milking this goat. Really messed up, but really interesting at the same time. There's a film that's one of my favorite films that was released, I believe, in 2019, sorry, but it might have been 2017, called The Eyes of My Mother, which is a black and white film that's mostly American, but part Portuguese as well. This film really reminded me of that in its cinematography. The way it was shot and the way it was filmed reminded me heavily of The Eyes of My Mother. And I want to review The Eyes of My Mother on this channel actually as well. Now, most people say that this film resembles The Witch a lot, which it does. There's a lot of like Witch vibes, Witch from 2017, directed by Robert Eggers. But like I said, watching this film, I definitely thought of The Eyes of My Mother a lot. And especially, like I said, the way it's shot definitely reminded me of that film a lot. It also puts you in a lot of different moods, I found. There's scenes in the film that are really anxiety driven, and then there are scenes in the film that are very peaceful as well. There are scenes in the film that are very beautiful to look at. This film is gorgeous all throughout, but it really fluctuates in the mood that it makes you feel from scene to scene. It's also divided into chapters. I like that a lot. Chapter 1 being called Shadow, and then from there it's 4 chapters, so Shadow to Horn to Blood and to Fire. And like I said, Shadow and Horn is where the main girl goes from child to adulthood, and then Blood and Fire just shits the bed with like just metaphors and symbolism, and that's where the film starts to get very like obscure, you could say. And that's the parts where like it will take multiple viewings to actually understand. But I think I got it for the most part. The climax of the film involves, I believe she's eating her child, like eating her infant. It's kind of disturbing because she's just eating this carcass of some kind. You can't really tell what it is, but I'm assuming it's her child, and I'm assuming what the film means is, in my perspective anyway, for the first time viewing, that to go on living as an incarnate of evil kind of thing, she has to devour her firstborn child, I guess. If not, because her mother got sick at the beginning of the film and she was taking care of her sick mother at the beginning of the film. Maybe because her mother didn't eat her. She got sick, and that's why she, was diseased and died of a horrible illness that wasn't really explained. But this girl, like in the 3rd chapter and 4th chapter, she starts to kind of become like, it's like her presence starts to, her evilness starts to develop more. And like I said, in the climax, she, from what I assume, eats her child. So I guess that's where her full witchness comes out. But correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe another viewing will I'll get a different perspective with it. But there's also a big plot point, you could say, with this skull. And she basically has this sanctuary with this skull in it, and it's like wrapped around in flowers and plants and stuff like that. And it looks like a worshiping station that she has in her little hut. And this skull always keeps coming back, and they keep focusing on it over and over. So what it represents, I don't really know. But it's a big part of the film anyway. Another thing about this film is I wonder if the language that it's spoken in German is like Old German, being that it takes place in the 15th century, because The Witch, which a lot of people compare this film to, was completely in Old English, to the point where you kind of need subtitles to understand what's going on in Old English. So I wonder if they did the same thing with the language in this film, if they used like an older style of German. It would make sense, and I think that would be actually pretty cool if I spoke or understood German. But I don't, unfortunately. But I loved it. It's definitely more of a film about cinematography, like I said, than dialogue. There is dialogue in it, but there's not a lot of it. And it's absolutely stunning to look at. Like, it's gorgeously filmed. I mean, this film, if it was in 4K or if I was able to see it in 4K, would be absolutely incredible. Gorgeously shot. I'm coming in at a 90 out of 100. Why out of 100? Because I hate decimals. We all know this already, I hope. But yeah, 90 out of 100. That's day 19 for you. I think this was my first foreign film in this review series. But yeah, Hagazussa, best metal band title ever. And most recent film that I'm reviewing as well. So, yep, that's Hagazussa, and I really enjoyed it. So until tomorrow, I am Morgan Film Fan. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan on YouTube and follow my Instagram if you'd like. And I will be back for some more reviews really soon. Take care. Cheers.